welcome back to Weeding It Out. We are on another elimination. It has been a long, long, long day. I am honestly pissed that you're here. You played a lovely game. Meredith, please tell us about your last round, and you had a little bit of drama, which I think you delivered very well, and I wanted to talk about it and get a better head on it from you, because you had a lot to say, and I think it is, on camera, but I think I want to get a few more of your thoughts on it.
Sure. This last round was very intense. I guess it started all the way back with those towers. I'm no engineer. I wasn't sure how I was going to take it. I was really glad to not have to go first and to be able to watch, because it's not one I've seen. I didn't have a strategy. So if I had to go first, I don't know what would have happened. But that was an incredible challenge. I really surprised myself again and knocked it out of the park. I can't deny how proud I am, especially that second one. I can hardly reach the top of it. My hand was shaking so bad I could hardly center the brick on the previous brick. Oh gosh, it was terrifying, but oh, so worth it. So that was great, and that felt like a huge victory, but I had a feeling that it wasn't going to last. I knew the green thumb was still going to be in effect. I had that feeling, and I had a feeling that it was going to be me. I had a hope that Claire would go for Christian, because she's been saying all day to his face she does not trust him, which I think is very fair on her part. And she's been saying all day to me that we do have a good relationship and that she does have more trust with me. And so I had a small hope, but I understand her situation and she had to make the choice, and so it was me. And so that just feels devastating, and just to have a victory turn so quickly into vulnerability, because immunity was the one thing that I needed, because I know I've been a threat and I've been a target so much. But then, after that, I knew that I was going to be put up by one or the other. And it was supposed to be Claire, but I convinced Christian at the last minute as we were sitting on the couches, so that's not on film, that if he put me up, I would get a seed. And that would bring my total up to 3, so that I could bid on the uproot.
Okay.
And I knew that Drake did have seeds as well. I wasn't sure if he had 3 or 4. But I think that lady on her way out had given him some, and so the totals were not quite known to us, but since he had 4, there was nothing I could do. I made my plea for it, which I had absolutely no thought in my head would work, but you have to do what you have to do. And so, I stuck up for myself as best I could and just sort of made my case for the game that I played, which I do think kind of does speak for itself, but you got to put it out there. But of course it wasn't enough, and saying to Christian, because he and I had been tight all day. I started off the morning saying Christian's a threat, not saying go for him, but I am scared of him. But he and I talked it out, and we're like, we're both threats. Let's work together. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he really has stuck by me, and maybe I'm wrong if I watch and find out later, but I really do feel like he has been a friend to me today in ways we have always tried to and never achieved in other games. So even that just feels like a victory that comes from today. And so I told him this is my only chance if you switch to me. It makes that small difference. I don't know if it's gonna work, and even if we tie on the bid, it's random chance, and that's something for me to cling to right now. Mm-hmm. And I've proven that I deserve to continue. And it wasn't enough, and it did cause some friction between Claire and him, which, is unfortunate, but she already knew she couldn't trust him, and she had said that. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But and then the vote was almost nothing. I didn't really need to make a case for myself, because I knew there was no chance it was going to change anything. I think the alliances down there are what they are, and I'm not really part of them. After John went home, there was not a clear way forward for me. Just because of how the events of the day had gone. And so I knew that, and that's totally fine with me. It's utterly disappointing, but I get to the point that I look back on the game I played and I surprise myself so much, and I'm so proud of everything that I've done, that I've even gotten this far. 6 is a good number for me. 5th is the best I've ever done, so I was hoping for maybe a new record of 4th was my ultimate goal, but I'll take another 6th under my belt.
I think you played a fantastic game. It was so like interesting to watch. Your foresight was incredible. You just had a lot of things that you felt coming, and I think you made a lot of really strong choices that a lot of other players could not comprehend, like wouldn't have been able to make because they couldn't think it. And I genuinely think you played like a really interesting game. I know you and John were really tight. When I talked to him, that was a really good moment because he was like, and it was so special.
I love John. No, I feel like we really connected, not just in the game as allies, but as people.
Oh yeah.
And we both live in New Orleans, and I'm just like, can someone give me his phone number? Like, we're gonna be friends now. I'm so excited about that. No, yeah, we've had an incredible bond all day. And in the morning, we and Emily also had the cooperation boxes, and so we had to sit and just negotiate who got an extra seed. And honestly, we just decided, like, let's just keep cooperating all day. And even after Emily went home, I think that only brought John and I closer. And that went so well that he and I were completely tight. And even just like joking around and just talking and catching up, we don't know each other, but getting to know each other. Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was absolutely a friendship. I was thrilled by it, devastated to see him go. But yeah, I mean, the seeds he gave me had like allowed me to play more game and to stay in a minute longer. And so, yeah, I definitely owe that to him. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely adore him. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it was really, really great.
It's so fun and heartwarming because like I literally had an interview with him where he was like, oh my god, I love Meredith and we were so close. Left you his seeds, which was really sweet, and then like you came in here and you were like, me and John were so tight. Like it's special.
No, and because it's so hard because you never truly know. But he is just one of those people. I was just like, if this isn't real, I don't know what is. If this isn't real, I can't trust like my out of game relationships of just like people I know, because this like just truly feels like we are friends and we're on the same page. And you have those moments of doubt no matter what, but I was just like, this is different, and it was really great because in these games those are very rare and hard to come by. But yeah, an absolute joy.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Who are you giving your seeds to? If anyone.
So I have 3.
Yes, you have 3.
Can I know the seed counts of people?
No.
Okay. I'm going to give 2 of them to Christian and 1 of them to Drake.
Okay, thank you.
I want to talk about the choices. I understand your Christian stuff. I want to talk about Drake a little more and your relationship with Drake.
That's been an interesting one because I'm honestly not sure what it's been like over the course of the day, but we got along in the morning just talking, and so we kept sort of reconvening throughout the day, and it wasn't really an intentional thing. It just sort of like we kept coming back together, sharing information, being on the same page, and over the course of the day that really does start to form something. And so by the end of the day, like I felt pretty connected with him, and there were many times I was like, he could be absolutely lying to me. This could absolutely be a trick. I have no idea. And he was one of those people I was just like, this to me could go either way. He was very hard for me to read. And so I would not be surprised if there were times that I did not get accurate information from him, or if things like just didn't go my way with him. But I just appreciate that like he came up to me and talked to me, because a lot of people just sort of disregarded me as someone who had immunity. They forgot I had a vote, they forgot I had seeds, and so not a lot of people were approaching me, and he is a very social player and was very much approaching me and involving me, and that was something. So even if it wasn't all completely genuine, most of the time it truly felt like it was, and so even just for that, and there's a reason that Christian got the majority of them, but I do feel like there have been times today that Drake fought for me. And so, even if I'm wrong, that's alright. It's worth it.
I love that. Because it's hard, and I think that's a good way to look at it. And you left him a seed, and you did what you needed to do.
And technically one of them was his, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it, last round he was like, just in case you need it to bargain. He slipped me one last minute. And yeah, and so I was going to use it against him if I could to do the uproot this round. But so it is only fair that I do return that to him. And yeah, I do feel like Christian has stood by me all day, and that's been great as well. And I do really appreciate that from him, especially because we've struggled to do that in other games previously, and never established that trust. But yeah, I feel like Drake has been there, and it's just been fun to hang out with all day. So you know, even just for that, just making me laugh and decreasing the tension, has been great.
How do you think your gameplay today has like compared to your gameplay in the past?
Oh, it's so interesting and so different. My gameplay is always a little bit weird. I am a person on the autism spectrum, and so for me, reading social situations is always a challenge. I have trouble telling if people are lying to me, reading facial expressions, that kind of thing. So these games are always really interesting for me because I am so much more willing to take people at their word, and it's so much harder for me to even think to lie. So it usually takes me a couple rounds before it even occurs to me to like say something that's not true and be dishonest about my intentions. And I always speak before I think. But it's interesting how far that gets me because I talk the way that I do, and people read me as a very genuine person, and I get trust that way. And so even if I'm too willing to give trust, or I really can't trust people because I can't read them, people do feel like they can genuinely trust me and believe the things that I say, and that is its own advantage that I can play to. And so I feel like that was very strong for me today. I feel like when people saw me as a threat, it was solely challenges. No one ever had any bad feelings toward me. I feel like I had positive relationships with everyone. I don't feel like I really pissed anybody off. And so that was great. And I feel like in previous times I might have pissed people off. And like I started off the morning saying like I will be full of adrenaline and rage, and I don't know what I'll say to people. I will probably be mean to strangers. And I was so calm today. This was the first time playing that like I haven't really raised my voice at anybody. I stayed very calm. I wasn't mad at anybody. Like I was upset at Claire's decision, but like I know it's not personal, and it can't be personal in this game. And I adore Claire as a person, and so like even that, I'm not gonna yell at her about it. I'm just like, you know, I do feel like I've earned this, and it feels unjust, but it's not a just game. You know, that's not what it's about. It's a strategy game, and she's absolutely playing to her strengths, and also trying to apologize and earn my jury vote, which is a much harder sell. But at the end of the day, it's been an incredibly different experience for me, just internally and emotionally. That like I've been calm, I've been chill, and that's partially the greenhouse has been a different game than previous games. I think this particular instance of it just happened so strangely, and I don't know if it would ever happen this way again, that people sort of didn't form these groups and strong alliances from the beginning. It was very much a feeling it out week by week for so many weeks, and that is just necessitates such a different game. And yes, since Greenhouse is new, I'm not very good at managing in-game currencies, so I thought I'll leave that to anyone else and not bother with it. So I never tried a seed challenge. I didn't go on seed hunts. Like it just wasn't for me, and that meant I kept playing in immunity, which was what fewer people were doing, and so I kept winning immunity.
Doing great.
Which was a shock to me every time. But, I mean, it kept me in, but it also created the target that I needed the immunity for. So it's an interesting situation, and I wonder what would have happened if I had chosen differently. But the seeds sort of like, not having seen the game before, not having played it before, I wouldn't have known how to manage them, and possibly would have mismanaged them. And so I felt pretty good about my decisions, especially because seeds can also create a target for you if you have too many, and they last. Immunity's 1 week. Next week I don't have it. And so it's a first league. And then the next week I did have it. But that aside, a very different game. And part of that's the greenhouse, part of that is the cast, and part of that is just, I don't know. I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and it's a different experience every time, and that is definitely the joy of coming here and playing these games, is that like you never know what you're gonna get. Didn't sleep at all last night thinking like, oh, what am I gonna do? How far am I gonna get? I have no idea. And it is a wonderful experience to just live through it and find out.
Oh yeah. I love you have such class. And because we've had a lot of like super pissed interviews and like super strictly opinionated interviews, and it's funny because you and Johns were the two where they were like, you know what,
had a really good time. I'm really proud of myself. And I'm
It's true,
obsessed
though.
because that's what you're supposed to take out of this. And
And maybe that's his influence on me all day, is that he mellowed me out. Because usually I am one of those people who, like, I can barely think when I'm leaving.
no, and nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah,
It's
and
just-
I'm often mad at myself because, like, the last one I played was the Genius, and I didn't see a pattern and a challenge, and so I missed it. And I got myself out because I couldn't win the game. And it was a spatial task I was never going to be good at. But I was just so mad at myself for not seeing it and for getting out because I couldn't do it. And so it wasn't even that, like, I had been in the situation or who put me up or whatever. It was just like, I hate these little trains so much and I'm full of rage. But, like, I don't know. I think partially that the games were so much before and going out as a vote. And so you're sort of in the negotiation phase rather than, like, the riled up tense game phase. I don't know, I just never got to that tense place, so the interview would not need to be tense, especially because I knew this entire round that, like, this is where I was heading. I've known for several rounds now that, like, I'm on thin ice and I'm barely skating through, and that I probably wasn't going to make it as far as I would have liked. So I had time, and now I am just happy to be here. It was just a great day, and no, I'm glad John and I have that in common. I'm glad he shared that with me as well, that we were on the same page till death. That works for us.
No, I love it. I'm gonna have you write your final feelings on the pot. I think you played a fantastic game. It was so fun to watch you play today. You were just so good. Everyone in the beginning was like, "Oh my God, she keeps winning me." And we were like,
I was feeling like that.
like, yo,
The
it was
first
easy, it was
one,
fun.
I threw the ball in the bucket on the first try, and I started running, shouting, "I don't know how I did that!" and I just kept, but that happened every round, and I was just like, oh my God! I thought about throwing it, but I was like, but now I need it at this point because I'm a threat because I keep doing this.
No, audience was eating it up.
And it's so and it's so funny. The folks at home, I don't know how this happened, and people who are watching because they're going to be playing in another one of these. It's now all bets are off. Next time I won't be good at games anymore. I don't know who I am. Every time that I walk in these doors, I'm just like, oh, the tasks are so intimidating. And oh God, like John and I against each other in the lasso in basketball was so funny. I'm the smallest person. He's the tallest. I did the lasso first, but of course he's gonna get a free throw before me. I was close, but I think we were just so, like, funnily matched on that. But yeah, no, just so funny.
It was just so fun
And
to see.
And I love it. I love getting the feedback that I'm fun to watch.
No, you
because
are.
it's such a weird experience to be here and to not know
And you're
how
on
people
camera.
are seeing it. Yeah. And to go back and watch. Taylor will post, like, I love Meredith for these moments, and I'm like, what did I say?
What moment?
I can't believe Christian will even talk to me anymore. Like, the things I have yelled at Christian in particular. I feel so bad. Like, I'm a different person. And then today, I feel like I was so much more, like, myself while playing. It's been such an interesting experience. But, yeah, no, I can't wait to watch this back and see what kind of person I am. And yeah, right as I was sort of leaving and we were waiting for the vote, Bryce was telling me, like, I think you would be the fan favorite for people watching this.
Seriously, you almost were for everyone here. Like we were like yes the whole time. No, you ate it up. I'm gonna have you write your final thoughts on your pot before we absolutely break it.
I can't keep
No, they let you keep the plastic one, but these were just to break ceremonially.
That's so funny.
Ceremonially.
Meredith writes, full of surprises, full of joy, and could have won the jury vote.
I want to read it. Incredible.